What's going on, guys? What's going on, Touch Club? What's going on, everybody? So, game two was the same as it was. The Indiana Pacers walk out with a 114 to 109 victory against the New York Knicks. And the New York Knicks really looked tired to me. The New York Knicks really look tired to me because in one factor you have Carl Anthony Towns. You have Carl Anthony Towns. You have Jalen Brunson. You have Mikal Bridges. Josh Hart. And Josh Hart played 23 minutes last night. He played 38 minutes game one. And I basically don't see this New York team like going to the NBA Finals. I definitely don't see that because you let Halliburton hit an easy money bucket on you. You let this Indiana Indiana Pacers team take two games on your home court. Now you're down 2-0. And how do you figure this out? How do you figure that you're down 2-0 and you're not going to be able to win a game here? You're down 2-0. Yes, Carl Anthony Towns scored 35 last game in game one. Yes, Jalen Brunson scored 43. The New York Knicks just look like out of sight right now and not together because the regular season is different than the playoffs. You got playoff teams like LeBron's not in the playoffs. Steph's not in the playoffs anymore. Kevin Durant didn't make the playoffs this year. So with those guys out of the playoffs, it's just like we're looking at this New York Knicks team and we're saying this New York Knicks team has the talent, has the talent, has the talent, has the talent, looks like a championship team on paper. You made all these moves in the offseason to get a Carl Anthony Towns for a Julius Randle, to get a Mikal Bridges for 5 first-round picks. Like, what else can you say here? Because what you're saying is to the New York, what you're saying is that you're not a championship team. And let me say this. The Indiana Pacers are just dominating, are just playing good basketball right now. Because you let Halliburton hit an easy money bucket game one and do the Reggie Miller. You let Siakam take over game two. Take over game two against you. Nobody, game one or game two, could have stopped Halliburton or Siakam. Nobody on the Knicks. And that's surprising. And coming from a basketball fan, it's definitely surprising because with one thing, your team looks like a playoff team, and you can't stop Halliburton. You can't stop Naismith. You can't even stop Siakam? Like, everybody, I think, knows all the players on the Knicks. Everybody don't pay attention. Everybody really don't pay attention to the Indiana Pacers and who they got on their team because everybody's sleeping on the Pacers right now. And the Pacers look like a basketball team that is ain't playing around. They're not. Like, if Indiana closes it out, if Indiana closes it out at their home court, on their home court, it's tough to say here that you're telling me that you can't win a game when the game's on the line and it's game 2 and you just can't hit a roll. You can't, like, New York can't get a game. Like, a lot of Knicks fans counted out Jalen Brunson when he first signed with the New York Knicks. Like, I know that the Knicks haven't had a playoff team that made it to the conference finals or made it to the second round since Carmelo Anthony and Steinmeier. But I'm just going to say this, is that this is something that you're going to let Siakam take over a game in game 2. Like, do we forget that Siakam has a championship and already been to the finals and has that finals experience on the Indiana Pacers? Has we forgotten that? Has we forgotten that Siakam was a part of that 2019 Raptors team? Has we forgotten that? Has we forgotten that the New York Knicks passed up on Halliburton in the NBA draft? Has we forgotten that? Like, have we forgotten how the New York Knicks, are just down 0-2, and it was supposed to go into 6 or 7, and you're telling me now that this team doesn't have, in my opinion, this New York Knicks team looks like a NBA Finals team on paper. Looks like a championship team on paper. But for the Knicks, it's going to take Karl Anthony Towns to 35. It's going to take Jalen Brunson to score 43 to get past that. But you're saying right now that the Knicks look like they're not a team that isn't going to make the finals, make the NBA finals, because this team is just not the team. Like, I get it that when you look at it, this rivalry goes back to the 2000s, to the 90s. And you're telling me right now that you do not see, how the Knicks are down 2-0 right now and going to Indiana, having to figure out a way to win. Like, you got Jalen Brunson, you got Carl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, who you didn't play more minutes because we know that Thibodeau likes to play his players a lot of minutes in playoff games and regular season games. So I basically think Rick Carlisle, who has a championship, let's also not forget that Rick Carlisle has a championship, won a championship with the Dallas Mavericks, and been there as well. Let's not forget that. This Indiana Pacers team, isn't not going to back down. They're just not going to back down. You can say, well, the New York Knicks still have time. They probably still have time to make this a series, but if they lose game 3, game 4 of this series, don't you think that the Pacers will be in the NBA Finals unless the New York Knicks come back somehow? Because I think New York Knicks fans right now are looking at this and saying, are we really down 2-0? How did we get here? Because as a basketball fan, I am going to say this. Being down 2-0, there has to be something that the New York Knicks have to do to make this a series. Because this, to me, you lose game 1. Okay, you drop game 1. I was kind of easy on the Knicks by saying after they dropped game 1 that I didn't think that they weren't going to drop game 2. But here we are now. And the Knicks are down 0-2. And I'm like, just not like surprised that Indiana is taking this the way that they want it to. Because honestly, when you have Siakam going off, when you have Halliburton hitting a bounce free, which every New York Knicks fan thought, I know New York Knicks fans thought this, because sometimes, as a Cavaliers fan, I always think this. New York Knicks fans probably almost left the arena once there was 0 seconds on the clock. They must have thought the Knicks won game 1. But Indiana took it because of the Halliburton shot. And like we've seen the great players walk into the Garden. And I think when we see players go into New York and walk into the Garden, we have to say that you know that that players got New York Knicks circled on the calendar. You gotta say that because when when players have certain arenas where they like to play at, I would say the Garden is one of them. And there's nothing about it because we've seen Larry Bird drop points in the Garden. We've seen Michael Jordan drop points in the Garden. We've seen Carmelo Anthony drop points in the Garden. Like there isn't when NBA players, I'm just going to say this, must have the New York Knicks and going to the Garden circled because they know when they go against the New York Knicks, it's going to be some competition. But this rivalry, this series, we're going to be talking about how the Pacers came back game 1. We're going to be talking about how this series has gone. We're going to be talking about those things. Because how this series turned out, I wasn't affecting how this series would be. Like it's 2-2 now. It's 2-0 now. It's 2-0 now. And it's 2-0 now, Indiana. And you're going to let Indiana just come into the Garden and take both games, go up 2-0 on you, and then lose that final game. That has to be a big upsetting loss because we didn't see Indiana. I mean, we didn't see New York come in. We didn't see New York play against other teams in the playoffs or play against other teams in the regular season like this. Indiana has more championship experience. They have Siakam that been to a NBA Finals. They have a head coach that won a championship in the NBA Finals. Like, there's nothing about it. You can say that the New York Knicks, this series is over without a doubt unless New York comes back in this series. It's basically over. You can bring the brooms out. Indiana fans. Pacers fans, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers somehow sweep New York. Because last year, Jalen Brunson went down with an injury against this team. This team and this Pacers team and this New York Knicks team isn't new to this rivalry. This is a different. We know this rivalry goes back to the 2000s and 90s. But it's just hard to see Indiana. It's hard to see right now the Knicks being down 2-0. Like, you can't have Jalen Brunson go off for 43 in a loss in game one. Karl Anthony Towns go off for 35 in game one in a loss. You can't just have that. And now we're sitting here today saying the New York Knicks look like a team that kind of like is tired and lost both games now. But guys, sub if you're new and never give up your dreams. And I hope all of you guys are safe out there. And stay blessed, everybody. In peace.